Excuse me. Good morning, my Teaser King family. Just straighting up here. 1 second. So it's good to see gold and silver break. Finally start moving up. So it's good to see the bottom. Which we'll get into. Watching some idiot talk about stable coins, how they're, oh, that'll be it. It's quicker. It's better for everybody. And da 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 da. And you're like going, yeah, it's not, it's not good. They're not back. Oh, well, they're backed by the dollar. Well, the dollar is worthless. So having something backed by the dollar does not make that, so they're like, oh, well, we need to back it by something. We'll back it by the dollar. That'll keep the dollar in play. Except it won't. There's a good Egon video I saw this morning. I'll play. All right, so let's take a look at our gold and silver, as we like, starting with the troublemaker. Now, keep in mind, this is all fixed. This is all Ponzi scheme. This isn't a real gold and silver price. These are fantasy paper prices done by JP Morgan. So the quicker you understand that it's manipulated and price fixed, the quicker you won't get all upset when you see it going down, thinking, oh, it's supply and demand. It's the last thing from supply and demand. So here we had a nice rebound of 112. We're back to 42.10, which shows you that 4,050 is the bottom. We went down to it. They got out of their options. They're still fucking around shorting for some reason. They don't realize that BRICS is real. So they got their options out, and then they could buy whatever they did at 4,050, and now it's back to 42.10, and silver is back to about 68. Again, that's really low. It's It's a $500 an ounce thing. Howard, how can you say it's only 67? Never been there. Because that's what it's really worth in the physical world that we live in, not in the paper world that COMEX lives in. We are not focusing on paper prices. The only thing we like is that we can buy over 67.78 that should be $1,000 an ounce. So that's what we like about COMEX. If we can understand it, which we do, it's just it's far more supply than is real. Like 76 million tons of paper silver versus 1 million tons of physical silver. How the fuck can that happen? Where do you get 76 million tons when there's only YouTube, not my internet? So let's make sure we're still on. I think we are. I think it was just short enough that we didn't lose it. Let's see. Because I noticed even YouTube, to get in, it was doing a lot of this last night. I was trying to watch it. Am I on? Okay, I am on. Good boy. All right, so I'm still here. We will watch. So we're going to watch this one later. So, and then this was I think we showed you this alligator. We talked, this idiot, the guy in the beard. I wouldn't listen to any of his. Most of it I don't want to listen to anyway. All right. So what's going on in gold? Again, these are options. Again, these are banks fucking around. And the banks are buying 42.10. So they went from 4,900 down, well, really 5,500, but that didn't stay. So let's say 5,000 down to 4,000. What happened? Everybody sold their gold? No, nobody sold an ounce of gold. It was all options. This is a paper price only. If China or Japan or Korea sells gold, it does not show here. It does not have an effect on this, or silver. This is a bullshit option market with fake prices. but they're really good for buying. So the 4,200, well, gold's probably 8 or 9,000 by now, probably more than that. But when you see 4,210, it's bullshit. Now it hurts if you're trying to sell, but you only, like, I'm selling 1 ounce because I need cash because that's how I got to pay bills, and I'm going to go on a vacation. But um, it's a great buying opportunity. So I've been buying. This is the first ounce I'll sell. I really don't want to sell it, but I don't have an option. And this is retirement. When you retire, you're gonna if you listen to the financial planners, you're fucked because you're gonna be in stocks. And you'll just sell your dividend stocks or you sell your, Amazon stocks. And then it's a problem because when the stocks crash, you won't have anything to sell to pay your bills. Gold and silver, you won't have to worry about it. Just go to the gold store where you bought it at and they'll buy it because they need inventory to sell. That's their business. So we will see. But don't fuck around. Get out of the stock market. Get out of the banks. The banks will fuck you over. Yeah, we're losing money. It's time to sell. See, so what's happening is we're in a depression right now. And everybody's losing their job. Hey, John C. Everybody's losing their jobs. And if everything with AI, if they start taking jobs, we're totally fucked because there's no economy. Because only people like us will have money to be able to go to the grocery store and the restaurants because the money will be worthless. So we're headed for worthless money. So that brings you to stablecoin. What do we hear? Well, stablecoin will be backed by the dollar and treasuries, and they're trying to sell it like it's a good thing, except for the dollar's worthless. So having something backed by the dollar doesn't help you. Having it in treasuries doesn't help you because you'll never get paid back. Because, oh yeah, we have a $40 trillion debt. Oops. Yeah, I didn't want to mention that. Our dollar is worthless. Nobody wants it. All the BRICS countries are buying gold and silver, as is Saudi Arabia and Dubai. And the only people, I still think Germany and most of Europe are buying gold. Italy, France, I think they're all buying gold. Britain, I'm sure, is buying gold. So I don't know any. Switzerland's buying gold. I don't know anybody that isn't buying gold. Maybe they can say Europe, but where? Maybe Amsterdam, maybe Brussels. I'm sure they're buying gold. So I don't know anybody that isn't buying gold to defend against the dollar. Saudi doesn't want dollars. That's why they're not putting money in the treasuries. So that's what we have. So you're not going to buy stablecoin. You're not going to want it. It sounds like the banks don't want it because they get cut off. And who controls the country? The banks. The banks control the Congress, the Senate, and the White House. So it's really the United States of J.P. Morgan. He runs everything. They run the banks. They run the government. And we're never going to get this if J.P. Morgan doesn't want it, which I just heard he doesn't, because if you cut out the banks, who's going to vote for it? The banks aren't going to have the people vote for it when they run the country. So what good's for the banks is what good for the gander. John C. Charles Barkley called Cardi B. Cardi. It was funny. I don't know what you're talking about. Called Cardi B. Cardi. I don't follow you, John C. I did see a Charles Barkley interview, and he said exactly what I said. The coach needs to go. That guy on San Antonio who took the layup instead of dribbling the ball out is an idiot. And I watched the final 5 minutes. And Winnebago's got to be the stupidest player in the league. If anybody's bought his cards, you might as well throw him in the garbage because he's never going to win a title. He's too stupid. There's shots in the last 2 minutes that he should have blocked, but for some reason he gets out of the lane. He doesn't understand his job is to not let anybody make a layup. and he needs to stay by the lane. And when somebody starts cutting to the lane, he needs to block the shot. That's his job. But then he roams out by the 3-point shot. Even at the end of the game, he's out with Doyle Brunson, and and he doesn't block the shot. What you doing out there? And then the rebound comes, and he's not there to grab the rebound. What are you doing? He made a good block on the one where Fox blows the layup, but even then, what are you doing? Why are you Fox? Just get the ball and dribble around. Eat up. If you had ate up about, you had to eat up about 7 seconds. But if you got the ball and you would have quickly dribbled back towards half court and dribble around, you probably could have eaten, because it was like not a fast break, but it was just that type of long rebound. You would have probably had at least 6 seconds to burn. That would have left 6 seconds. And then when Doyle Brunson misses the 3-point shot, game's over. There's no tip. And if you would have stayed, if Winnebago would have stayed in the paint instead of wandering out to the 3-point line, you probably would have won the game, because he would have grabbed the rebound or got fouled or something. So terrible. That's 2 times he's done it. I also noticed there's a pass from Fox to Winnebago, and it looked like Fox blew the pass. It looked like he just sent it across and there was nobody home. Well, that's not true. It was Winnebago was doing a pick and roll and should have been there, but Winnebago cut towards the basket instead of staying out by the 10-second timeline to catch the pass. So the pass wasn't Fox's fault. It was Winnebago, again, not knowing what he should be doing. I think this guy's got a serious mental problem. I think he's multipolar or something. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I don't think he can understand. I think his basketball IQ is like 2. He has no concept. He's 7'4". He's taking 3-point shots like an idiot. He goes out to the 3-point line. You're 7'4". You stay under the basket. I don't know why that concept's so hard for this guy or the coach. The coach looks like an idiot. They're never winning with this coach. Not going to happen. There's always, like, the Pistons had some guy in 2008, and then they brought in Larry Brown, and then they won the title. And the Pistons were struggling in the 80s, and they brought in Chuck Daly, and they won the title. It's the coach. Look at the Lakers had that guy, and they brought in Pat Riley, and they won the title. And, it's critical you have a good coach. The coach sets everything, as he does in every sport. Bill Parcells, the Giants would never have won without Bill Parcells. And don't tell me Bill Belichick didn't do shit in that. Oh, yeah, it was real hard for him to have Lawrence Taylor on the defense. Like, let's give him credit for that. The Niners needed Bill Walsh. Lombardi came to the Packers. They won. Chuck Noll goes to the Steelers. By the way, they win a few. So it's all coaching. And you have this shit coach at San Antonio who is absolutely clueless. He had no idea what to do with Winnebago. So with that report, I am taking San Antonio tonight, lane 5.5, really just because they're down 3-1. And as bad as the coach is, they have gotten big leads in game 2 and blew it, and game 4 and blew it. They had a 30-point lead. I guarantee you they can get 30-point leads, and I guarantee you they're not going to blow it this time. The Knicks will kind of relax. They can afford to lose. They're up 3-1. They know it's a miracle. They're totally spent emotionally. They'll be very flat tonight. You're going to go, oh, what's wrong with Doyle Brunson? What's wrong with these guys? They're emotionally drained. And they know, well, we'll lose here. We'll win game 6 in New York. Now, you're not going to say it, but you're thinking it. We can afford to lose. That's the psychological edge that San Antonio has tonight. Games in San Antonio, they look like shit. The last game 2 and game 4, they should have won. They should be up 3-1, but no, they're too stupid. Okay, so what do we do with them? And that's basically where we're at. What do we do with them? They're a very bad team and need to figure it out. And that's what's happening. So this will be San Antonio wins by 20 tonight. They'll hold the lead because they know what they did the last game. But again, the coach needs to be fired. He's too stupid. They kept shooting 3-point shots. Now I watched it was like the last 5 minutes of the game was on YouTube, and you could just see, let's take a 3-point shot. Let's take no, get the ball in the paint, fellas. Get fouled. Drive the basket, get fouled. What are you doing? Cause the contact. Watch Larry Bird replays. Watch Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. Watch how they got fouled. Watch Kareem. In the offseason, if Winnebago doesn't learn the sky hook, I'd let him go work at the grocery store. I mean, he's just too stupid. Anyway, so gold and silver, really, okay, they broke their losing streaks, but the losing streaks are fixed. And so here you got 42-10, gold 67-78. So here again in streaks, okay, good. It's starting to go up. So I'm waiting. I think I should see 4,500 next week, and that's what my target is, to sell my ounce just to get money. But I wasn't going to sell it at 4,000, but I was getting like, okay, when's this bullshit end already? Because I know it's bullshit. I know it's not real. All right. So let's go to baseball. What a day I had in baseball yesterday. All right. So baseball, 6-12. I go 6-2 plus 10 units. The lock wins, which was Milwaukee was the lock. The free play was the Yankees minus or over 8, and they got there pretty easily. And we got a free play for you today, a nice pitching matchup that that's adorable for you guys. All right, let's walk through it. We got Pittsburgh over 8.5, and Miami wins 8-3. Pittsburgh has Scanes, and then there's the rest of the pitchers. And they hit, although they only got 3 runs yesterday, but that's enough. Over 8.5, we got 11. It's a W. We have Seattle minus 135, 2 units. Seattle wins 10-2 over Washington. We play the Tigers, regrettably, over 8.5. They lose 3-2. Joe Flaherty stinks. He's got a 5 ERA, and Cleveland only got 3 runs on him. And the Cleveland pitcher has a 5 ERA too, and the Tigers get 2. And it's hard with the Tigers. When the pressure's on, they fade away. And so they had a good series with Minnesota, I think. And then they disappear. And this was an easy pitcher, and yet they didn't do shit. I thought the Tigers would score more than 2 runs, but I was mistaken. And then here's Cleveland, and it's Cleveland wins. They were 123, but I took Detroit over. I don't trust Detroit to win, but I thought over 8. I've seen Cleveland starting to hit, so that was one of my 2 losers. We got Boston. Let's see, where are we? The Red Sox, we have minus 123. They win 10-1. We have the Dodgers over 9, and the Dodgers lose 8-2 to the White Sox. The White Sox are playing pretty well, but we get over 9 with an 8-2, which is 10. Milwaukee, our lock. Mizorowski, the best pitcher in the league, shuts out the Phillies 6-0. That was a 4-unit lock. So there you go. We play Minnesota, but we don't bet them. They win a wild one, 9-8 to the Cardinals, which I'm looking at. Oh, they scored runs finally. So I didn't bet it, but I liked it. And our last one was the Cubbies. I have over 8.5 against the 49ers, 2 weak pitchers. and the 49ers don't score, and it's 5-1 Cubbies. Let's see if we got the right pitcher for the Cubbies. Like, what did we lose? Oh, yeah, we should have played the Cubs. That was a mistake. Assad pitched for the Cubs, and he's got a 4 ERA, 6 innings, 3 hits. Okay, but he's got a 4 ERA. He's supposed to give up a few runs there. And then we go to the Giants, and our man Roop, who's lost like 8 in a row, lost again. So the real play probably should have been the Cubs, just betting against Roop. 4.24 ERA, gives up 4 hits, 4 runs, and 4 innings pitched, and 105 pitches. And again, I outsmarted myself because the play should have been the Cubs, because Roop's on what? Roop is on a 7-game losing streak, is now an 8-game losing streak. Painter was 1-9, is now 1-10 as the Phillies lose. Littell lost. He's got a 6-game. Oh no, he's 5-1 for Washington. Anyway, so the reason I didn't play was because of the Cubs pitcher. I mean, this guy. I mean, Assad is nothing, right? And I mean, he's got a 4 ERA and 6 innings, gives up 3 hits. So let's look at the Niners. What do they look like here? So let's look at them. They start off with a 326 hitter, a 316 hitter, a 272 hitter. That's 3, and then a 333 hitter, 4, a 260 hitter, 5, and a 298 hitter batting 9th. So they got 6 good hitters. How the fuck a team with 6 good hitters gets 4 hits, 3 of them by the 316 guy, 1 by the 326, and that's it. I mean, this is crazy. Again, this is the problem. Just looking at averages, you're loaded. You got 6 hitters. You're up there with some good teams. But that happens. So we hit Pitt, we hit Seattle, we lose Detroit, we hit Boston, the Yankees over, the Dodgers over, Milwaukee, and we lose the Cubs over 8. That's 6-2 plus 10 units because our 4-unit lock wins. And that's my secret for doing so well in football is you vary the units or the amounts. Football, my lock's $3,000, 2,500 or 2,500 units, 3,000 units, or 30 units, 25 units, and my regular pays are maybe 9 or 11, depending on where we are in the season and how big I grew my bankroll. But that's the difference. You see the lock, you bet those big, and then I could afford to lose the Tiger game and still hit the 4-unit game, and that's it. But I hit all the other 2-unit games. So Pitt scored a lot. Seattle wins. Boston wins. The Yankees over 8. They scored a lot. The Dodgers over 9. They did not score, but the White Sox did. Milwaukee, we let their ace. Nobody's going to stop him. And the Cubbies, the 49ers, didn't hit this guy. Let's look at the Dodgers real quick. Did Shotani play? They lost 8-2. I love the White Sox red uniforms. They're the White Sox, not the Red Sox. I like how all these teams are using different things. K beats Sasaki. So K's pretty good. The Dodgers, no, they start off with Call, Pages, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Tucker, Rojas, Muncy, Espinola, and Robinson. So no Shotani. Sasaki with his low ERA, 4 innings, 7 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned. Do we have the White Sox today? Well, let's take a look. So that's yesterday. Let's take a look at today's. Your free pick today is Boston, under 7.5. We got the Ranger going against Jacob deGrom. Free pick Boston under 7.5. So the Ranger with the 3.18 and deGrom with the 3.21. deGrom is good. Boston, neither team really hits that well. And when like the Ranger and deGrom are out there, you're not hitting them, even if you are hitting well. So free pick, boom. It's not a lock, just free pick. Let's look at the White Sox. The Dodgers and the White Sox. We got the Dodgers 196. Yamamoto, like another Mr. Fuji disciple, goes against Sean Burke 4-5. Well, let's break this game down. Yamamoto, he's won his last 3. His last 5, he gave up 5 runs to the 49ers. 1 run, 0-1, and it's 7-7 and 8 innings. So he's been pretty tight. Before then, he had a run where he gave up 3 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs, 5 runs, and all of a sudden he got it together. And the White Sox, Sean Burke, he had lost 4 in a row. Then he's won his last 2, including beating Philly 6-3. His last 5. Now this is not a big guy here. 4 innings, 4 runs. 4 innings, 2 runs. 7 innings, 2 runs. 5 innings, 1 run. 4 innings, 3 runs. So you can't just look at the runs. You look at 4 innings, 3 runs. You look at 4 innings, 4 runs. 4 innings, 2 runs. And then the 7th inning 2-run, who was that against? That was against Minnesota. Minnesota's all over the place. This guy technically goes 9 innings, but he does give up a lot of runs. Detroit, well, they couldn't hit. And he gives up 1 run against a bad Detroit team. That was just before they got their players back. So, we got to be careful. This is why we look at the pitcher. White Sox beat him 8-2, a good pitcher yesterday. Now they get Yamamoto. He'll come out. He'll have 2 bags of salt to throw in the batter's eyes. That's how Mr. Fuji manages. So it's hard to go over here, although I think it will be over. I mean, Yamamoto with the 2.69, but he's had 4 bad outings. His last 4 have been good. But the White Sox hit the fuck out of the ball. Them in Pittsburgh are really big hitting teams that you don't really realize are big hitting teams. So it's a tough play. You kind of look like the play seems to be the Dodgers with the 2.69 against the 4.50, but they don't have Shotani. They got a lot of hitting, but they're not hitting. The Dodgers, the White Sox hit the hell out of the ball. This is a pass game. I'd like to play the White Sox, but I can't go against 2.69. So we don't know. If we heard about Shotani, did he tear ligaments or anything in his knee? Because he did leave the game early. TK, they are having a UFC event at the White House tomorrow. I don't really have any interest in that. Is it Iran? Is it like the Iron Sheik against Hulk Hogan, where it's Iran versus the USA and everybody was cheering USA? Yeah, I don't care about UFC. I don't care about the White House. Trump's an idiot and a liar, so I don't have anything. All right, so let's look at our baseball. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays, no locks. And our free play is probably the best game of the day. Ranger Suarez, Jacob deGrom, under 7.5. It's not a lock, just a 2-unit. But that's your free play. All right. Let's see. This is at 2:10. Okay, so we got time. First game, we go St. Louis, Minnesota. It was high scoring yesterday. We got Libertari, a 4.50 ERA against Prelab, a 5.23 ERA. Well, actually, I should give the odds, right? St. Louis 106-9. Now we'll go to the pitchers. Libertari, he is a left-hander, I believe. Peoria, Arizona. No, Peoria's in Illinois. What are they talking about? No wonder he's confused. All right, game logs, nothing. His last 5, he seems to only go 5 innings. Gave up 4 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs, a shutout, and 5 runs. And he actually is going 100 and mostly high 80s in his 5 innings. So this guy sucks basically. 2-3 walks a game. So he's not really accurate. So Libertori's got problems. Minnesota with Prelab. Prelab is no streak. And he goes 4, and the most he's done is 6, but he normally goes 4. Last 5 games, 6 innings, 2 runs, 4 innings, 6 runs, 4 innings, 6 runs, 6 innings, 4 runs. So they're going to hit him. So neither pitcher's any good. And I've made my pick. All right. The Yanks in Toronto. We got the Yanks minus 110, 7.5. We got Steve Schittler with a 1.87 ERA and Gausman with a 3.60. Both are excellent pitchers. And I was struggling between taking Schittler and taking the under in this game. So I made my pick. You make yours. Let's see. Kevin Gausman. He's a good pitcher. He's won 4 out of his last 5. But his last 5, his 6 innings shutout, 6 inning 1 run, 5 innings 1 run, and then 6 innings 4 runs, 5 innings 4 runs. And he hasn't faced the Yanks. So he's struggling with Baltimore and Atlanta. He did 1 hit, he 1 run Pittsburgh, and he shut out, Detroit. Detroit doesn't count. They're a minor league team. And Miami gave up 1 run too. So he's pretty good. And the Yankees aren't hitting. So there you go. So it's either take Schittler or take the under, I would imagine, in the game. Miami against Pittsburgh, Pitt 121-9. Bacher, who is a relief pitcher, goes against Chandler with a 5.05, who's not really good. Seattle against Washington. Washington minus 115-9. We've got Castillo for Seattle, 5.43 against Cavalier, 3.91 for Washington. So let's take a look at these pitchers. Luis Castillo. 5 innings, 3 runs, 2 innings, 2 runs, 4 innings, nothing, 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 1 run. But you think, oh, he's a reliever. He's not a reliever. He goes 100 pitches twice and then 60 or 70. He just gets in trouble. And who is Castillo? I don't even know what team I'm looking at. I think he's Seattle. So not very good. Yeah, Castillo's Seattle's pitcher. His 5 ERA, even though he doesn't give up a lot of runs, he only goes 4 innings, 5 innings. And the ERA is high. But that's the thing. He won't give up 5 runs. This is where you got to be careful. You look at an ERA of 5.43 and you go, oh, well, this guy is going to give up 5 runs. He won't, because he's only going to pitch 4 innings and gives up 2 runs, which is a 4 ERA. So that's kind of the other where they're, you got to be careful of that. Who won yesterday? Seattle won the game yesterday. I think it was pretty high scoring. Cavalier, last five, 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, one, 5 innings, two, 5 innings, four. So he'll give up 2 or 3 runs, and he seems to pitch 5 or 6. So this appears to be a high scoring game with both pitchers, but this is the problem. Cavalier could throw a shutout or 1 run or not, and he's going to 5 innings. How's the bullpen? And this is where baseball gets into understanding the bullpen and the hitting of the team. So I think Seattle's got hitting. I'm not sure Washington does. And it's just the way it is. I mean, it's just, this looks like an over, but the over's 9. So I kind of left this alone. I didn't play this game, didn't like it. San Diego, Baltimore. We got Baltimore 117 and a very high 10, a 10 total. We didn't play this yesterday, and we probably aren't going to play it today. Vasquez 365 against Gibson 420. Should be an over game, but it's 10. And Randy Vasquez, he's lost 4 in a row. There you go. So a little edge to Baltimore. Innings pitched his last 5, 6 innings shutout, 4 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 4 runs, 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 innings, 4 runs. So those last 4, he's sucked. And he's the starter. And then we go to Gibson, Trey Gibson for Baltimore. And he's only pitched in 4 games. He's lost 3 of them. And these start May 3rd. So he must be like the 6th pitcher or 5th. 4 innings, 3 runs, 2 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 1 run, 4 innings, 3 run. So you look at his ERA and he goes 2 innings and gives up a run. Well, that's a 4.5 ERA because you got to prorate it to 9 innings. 5 innings, 1 run, but then 4 innings, 3. So, he gives up 1 run, but he only pitched 2 innings. So this guy kind of sucks too. So you got 2 kind of bad pitchers, and it goes to the hitting. So where I'd like it over, again, you get caught into, do you want to go over 10? That's the hard part, right? And it seems like one team will score 6 or 7 and the other team scores 1. And you're like waiting for the other team to, start scoring. And then it relies on the. All right, Cleveland, we got Detroit 129, 7.5. Skubal is back from his bullshit injury. Just to trade him. I would not be pitching him now. They're probably pitching him. I mean, they're 29 and 41. Cleveland's 38 and 33. So they're 9 and 8. They're 8.5 back of Cleveland, which if you had a good team's okay. They're 11 and 25. What do you do here? I wouldn't be playing School. I wouldn't have played him all year. He did get injured. I doubt he's ready. He pitched a good minor league. Yeah, this isn't minor leagues. I don't trust Skubal at this point. I don't think he'll go more than 4 or 5 innings because he'll cry, I got to get out of the game. This is the problem when you deal with a loser like Skubal and a pussy. He doesn't care about the team. He doesn't care about winning. He just looks at his bank account. Shouldn't be playing professional baseball. If you don't have the passion for the sport, you shouldn't be doing anything you're not passionate with. Your girlfriend, your wife, your job. If you don't have passion for it, it's never going to work. So I don't like this Skubal at all. Let's look at Cantillo. What's he going to do? His last 5 innings, 4 runs, 5 innings, shutout, 2 innings, 4 runs, 4 innings, 4 runs. So he's pretty bad. So I would think the Tigers will hit. You got 4 innings of Skubal before he goes and has to, take a nap and put a pacifier in his mouth. Total baby. He's just doing contract. He'll pitch 4 innings, 5 innings. Okay, before I hurt my arm again so I can get traded, make a big contract. And that's all he wants. So tell him to fuck off. Cantillo, though, is lousy. So Detroit, I thought would hit yesterday because the pitcher was not that strong and they didn't. It was a 3-2 game. So I don't think there'll be much different. I think this will be a low-scoring game, except for Cantillo's bad, but Detroit really can hit. It's a lefty, so Detroit's going to have the right-handed lineup. It sucks. And Skubal, I don't know if him being lefty and Cleveland's right-handed lineup or that. Low-scoring game, but I'm not touching 7.5 because I know Skubal's there for 4. And I don't even know how good Skubal is. 4 innings. Oh, he had a good minor league outing. Yeah, okay. So he has one little outing in minor leagues, and now he's ready to be traded. You watch. He'll pitch 4 innings, maybe 5. He'll go cry. And then they're going to try to trade him, which they should do. I mean, they got to trade this guy. He's bad news. He's not a winner. That's what Barkley was saying. Or somebody was saying it about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Knicks guy, and or Doyle Brunson. And they say he's a winner. And Skubal's not a winner. He's a loser. All right. Texas, Boston, here's your free play. Jacob deGrom, 3-2-1 against the Ranger with the 3-1-8. Boston, 112, 7.5. Love the under here. Gotta love the under here. Neither team really hit well, but when you put these two guys on the mound, and as you can see, it's the pitcher. You got a real good pitcher. Nobody's hitting you. I mean, the Phillies got shut out by Mizorowski for the Milwaukee yesterday. And that's why when you get a pitcher like you're not hitting this guy. And if you can't hit him, you're not scoring. But then if they face another pitcher who's not so good, you're going to hit him. So that's the key to it. So go under Ranger and deGrom. Good, very good matchup. Atlanta goes to the JETSs. Namath will be out there today. The Jets minus 115, 8.5. Martin Perez, 3.26 ERA against Manaea, who hasn't pitched. I don't think. You never know when they give you the 0 ERA. Yeah. He hasn't pitched this year. But when you look at his last couple of years, I'm confused. 2026 game log. Oh, he's more of a reliever, but he's gone 5 innings and he's gone 60 pitches. I'm confused. Maybe he was injured. His last 5 have been 3 runs and 4 innings, 3 innings, 1 run, 3 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 1 run, 4 innings, 2. Pitches about 60 pitches. I don't understand that. ZRA this year is 5.02, 5.64 last year. Okay, so this guy's a bum, and they against Atlanta, Martin Perez with the 3.26. So this is the problem. It shows Manaea is a 0, but he's not. He's a 5. I think what they do, they calculate as a starter what's his ERA, and if he's in the bullpen, they don't know how to calculate it. Unbelievable. All right, Perez 3.26. The Mets are favored with Manaea. It's almost an Atlanta play. Martin Perez sounds like somebody on Money Heist. He's the evil Martin Perez. I did watch the new Berlin. It's very good. I highly recommend. The first one I did not like at all. I thought it was too stupid. The second one I like. This if you have Netflix and the new Berlin, the professor does make an appearance on the last episode, so I was all excited. He helped out Berlin there, but very good one. Very creative. A little dip there. Much better. Much like Money Heist. The first Berlin just sucked. So let's see. So we've got Martin Perez from Spain. I don't know. He pitched 1 inning, shutout. Then it was 5 innings, 4 runs, 5 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs. So he goes mid 80s. Yeah, there's 2 games he goes 12 and 14. I assume he came in. Yeah, so he doesn't start every game. ERA of 3 versus, yeah, so 3.5. So he's a 5 inning guy. So you're going to get to the bullpen. Manea is not very good, 5 ERA. Do the Mets hit? Atlanta can hit, possibly an over. Not loving this game. There's really both pitchers kind of stink, so it's kind of like, what are we going to get here? The Dodgers without Shotani go to the White Sox. I think we looked at this one. Yamamoto with the 269. The total on the game is 196. Total of 8. Yamamoto 269 against Sean Burke 450. The White Sox are hot. They're good at home. But can they hit Yamamoto, who actually has a 2.69 ERA? I apologize if we've already talked about this, but I forgot. So we're going to talk about it again. His last 5 were 6 innings, 5 runs, and then it's been 7 innings, 1 run, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 0, 8 innings, 1 run. So this guy's hot, and you're not hitting him. So I can't go over Burke. For the White Sox, they can hit. They might hit this guy. They're hot, but I'm looking for the guy like yesterday with the 4 or 5 ERA, and then we can bet the over, especially with the Dodgers hitting. But here, I can't bet that the White Sox are going to hit. I don't know about Yamamoto, but I like the White Sox. Shotani's out, so this is a watch. But I think I would lean. I still want to lean over in the game but I can't because of Yamamoto. It's a tough game. Maybe the Dodgers. Let's look at this Sean Burke from Massachusetts. 4 innings, 4 runs, 4 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 1 run, and 4 innings, 3 runs. So he's all over the place. The 1 run was against the Tigers, so that really doesn't count. That's a minor league. It's like Alabama playing, Wabash State, and then you're going, oh yeah, they did beat Wabash State 73-0. Yeah, but they're not a real team. So yeah, it's a tough one. I think the Dodgers win a close game, maybe a low-scoring game. Hard to say. Not my cup of tea. Arizona goes to Cincinnati. Didn't play. This was a low-scoring game yesterday. Arizona, low-scoring game. Cincinnati can score. Their bullpen sucks. Arizona 145, 9.5. Soroka against Lauder. Soroka with a 3.28 ERA from Calgary. Oh, who's our Canadian manager? Let's go with Classy Freddie Blasty. I think he's got Canada. Jimmy Hart's the mouth of the South, so he's got the Southern boys. No streak. All right, last 5. 5 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 1, 6 innings, 2, 6 innings, 4, 7 innings, 3 for Soroka. Pretty, you'll get a few runs off of him. He'll go 6 innings. Lauder. Now, Cincinnati can hit. Rhett Lauder from North Carolina. Jimmy Hart's guy. He's lost 4 in a row. I don't know. He's a bullpen. I don't know what he is. He pitched 6 innings and 6 innings, but the last 5 have been 6 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 2 runs, 1 inning, 8 runs, 3 innings, 3 runs, 3 innings, shutout. But he goes 3 innings, gives up 70 pitches, 60 pitches. 1 inning was 52 pitches, and how do you go 1 1/3, 52 pitches? 4 Okay, this guy's got control issues. Got louder. So I think this is maybe an Arizona game, and can they get over? Does Arizona have enough hitting? we'll keep our eye on that one. We want to get better on Arizona, like Houston, KC. Again, this looks like KC minus 122, 9.5. Burrows 5.79 ERA against Cameron with a 3.88 ERA. You got to be kidding me. Burrows, he's lost 4 out of his last 5. His last 5 innings, 7 runs, 6 innings, 4 runs, 7 innings, 2 runs, then 5 innings, 6 runs, 5 innings, 4. So we cannot bet Burrows. He sucks. He's a minor leaguer, 5.79, going against Cameron. Now we can see why KC's a 122 favorite. Noah Cameron from Missouri. Show me. Ooh, he had lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then he won. So he's 1-6. Cameron, so we're not betting him. His last 5, he gave up 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 innings, shutouts, 5 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 1 run. So his last 4 games, he's pitched well. Even the other 2, he gave up 3 runs. His worst, he gave up 5 and 7 and 5 early on. So really losing, but his ERA is low. Burrows sucks. So I think KC here, minus 122, 9.5. I didn't play it. But maybe KC's here. Houston, I think it was a high-scoring game yesterday. Houston scored like 10 runs. Philly and Milwaukee. There's our Milwaukee, the best pitching staff. 42-25. This is a very good team. They hit the fuck out of the ball. Them in Pittsburgh can really hit. Aaron Nola. Oh, wait. Milwaukee, minus 162.8. We've got Aaron Nola 5.86 against Shane Dronen 5.54. Nola is just not good. He's won his last 3, but he's given up last 5. 3 innings, 6 runs, 5 innings, 4 runs, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 innings, 5. You're going to hit him. So maybe you go over. Shane Dronen from Florida, Jimmy Hart's guy. He's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 8. And his last 5, 1 inning, 1 run. What was that about? I don't know. 3 innings, 2 runs, 2 innings shutout, 4 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs. So I don't know if he's a reliever or what the fuck he is. But Aaron Nola just stinks. A total of 8. All right. The Cubbies and the 49ers. This guy's really good. Ben Brown, 1.45 ERA. I watched him in the Cardinal game a couple weeks ago, and he just shut everybody out. Excellent pitcher. A lot of low-scoring games. Tim McDonald from the 49ers. The Cubs are 110-8. They're not hitting Brown. McDonald, who has a farm, by the way. This is old McDonald. He, let's see, his last 5. 6 innings, 1 run, 3 innings, 7 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 1 run. He goes 80, 90 pitches, so kind of inconsistent. Well, the Cubs hit him. So it looks like you probably want to go with Ben Brown. Cubbies 110-8. There we go. It's a good game, actually. The Bears and the 49ers. Be a better football game. Colorado and Oakland. Our buddy Kyle Freeland, probably the worst pitcher in the league with the 7.8 ERA. The A's are 168 and 14.5. Freeland against SDs. Freeland 7.8 ERA, 7.81 ERA. I don't think we have to do much there. The guy's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. He's lost 8 of his last 9. And if we look at his totals, you can understand. He's given up 6 runs, 7 runs, 7 runs, 3, 8, 6, and 3. Basically, I don't know what he's doing in the major leagues against Estes, and Estes hasn't pitched this year. We look at him last year, he pitched 3 games, 9.82 ERA. In 2024, he pitched 25 games, started 24, had a 5 ERA. So I don't know this guy's any good either. Total on the game's 14 and a half. So there you go. In our last game is Tampa Bay against California. Tampa Bay is minus 110 and 8. Jax, who's a bullpen guy, he's trying to start. He sucked against the Tigers. A 3 ERA going against Soriano with a 2.96, who sometimes is good, sometimes not. The 2.96 is real, but let's look at the last 5. I think he's had a lot of he's lost 4 out of his last 5. He had the big game where he had that 7-inning, gave up 1 run, and then it's been 6-2, 3-3, 5. So he's not all that. Tampa, I don't like their pitcher. Total of 8. I don't like anything to do with this game. So basically, I picked 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, and I've got the free play of Boston under with the Ranger going against DeGrom. We know both those pitchers, so we know how good they are. It's National Outlet Shipping Day today, shopping day today. I had no idea. All right, let me make my email to my customers. It's already June 13th. Good God. I just moved in here and now it's already June. Time do fly. Just 1 second. This won't take long. I just have 7 picks. Okie doke. So let's look at a quick overview of baseball. Let's look at our standings. So in the East, Tampa Bay and the Yankees are even. Tampa 40-26, the Yankees 41-27. Even without Judge, they can hit. Toronto 34-36, Baltimore 34-37, and Boston coming up the rear because they don't hit. This is what hurts baseball here. Sander Bogarts, their shortstop, he goes to San Diego. And it's a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, 28-39. So Tampa and the Yankees are the A teams there. Boston, I don't call them a Z team, but they're weak. And we got the White Sox leading the Central 37-31, Cleveland 38-33, half behind. Minnesota 32-39, Detroit 29-41, and KC 28-42. Hard to believe they're worse than Detroit there. So the White Sox and Cleveland are much better than you think. Toronto, Minnesota, we don't know. And Detroit and KC stink. And Seattle 37-34, Oakland 34-35, Texas 34-35, Houston 32-39, California 28-42. So this division stinks, and California is pretty bad at 28-42. National League. We start off Atlanta 45-24. They're the A team. Philadelphia, pretty good, 37-32. Miami 35-35. Washington 35-35. And the Jets 31-38. Namath, we're wearing green this week. So it's a good division. Atlanta's the A team. Philly's not an A team, but they're good. And I don't know what Miami and Washington, that's the problem, 35-35. And the Mets. Miami's on a 6-game winning streak, I'm noticing. We'll go through streaks in a minute. And the Mets they got a big payroll. They're just not winning. Milwaukee, 42-25. They're the A team in the league. We're betting them heavy and often. The Cards, 37-30. So they're pretty good. The Cubs, 36-34. The Steelers, 35-35. And the Bengals 32-36 coming up there. So this is a pretty good division. 35-35 is a good, it's a good record. 32. It's not like 20 wins. And then we got the National League West, the Dodgers 44-26, San Diego 35-33, Arizona 35-34, the 49ers 28-42. Colorado 26-44. So Colorado stinks, but they're playing a lot of closer games, and the Niners just aren't very good. I mean, these are the weak teams. So it's either the Dodgers or it's Colorado and the Niners. So we have one streak there, 6-game. Miami is on a 6-game winning streak. The American League, absolutely no streaks, nothing in the American. All right, so kickoff is at 2 o'clock. The first game, the Cardinals and the Twins. Yankees are at 3. The Boston game is at 4. Plenty of time for that. Again, all these games, it's pathetic. None of them are on TV. So I'm in Detroit. If I wanted to watch the Tiger game, I got to get the Disney Channel or Detroit Sports Network, whatever it is. Why would I pay to watch a last place team with a crybaby pitcher? No interest. So this is the problem. Instead of having the game on like Channel 50 or whatever you had it on before, you show it on a pay network. Assuming there's a market, let's go back to Vegas, right? What do I say? There's no market for resort fees or for parking or for expensive hamburgers or for expensive, or for expensive alcohol, which is supposed to be free there, and expensive hamburgers. So There's no demand. That's my point. There's no market for it. Nobody's sitting there going, "Yeah, I want to pay for parking at Caesars." Yeah, oh, $40. Sure, no problem. Because then I get to gamble there. Well, we don't pay for parking when we go to Best Buy or Costco or Farmer Jack's or Kroger's. There's no parking there. You don't pay for parking. You do in these big city downtowns, New York, Chicago, where they have the downtown and you pull into the garage and that's mafia run. Okay, we get that. But this is crazy here in Vegas to charge for parking. There's no market, there's no demand. So is there a market to pay to watch the Tiger Cleveland game? No. I expect to watch that on CBS or Fox or ABC, whatever it's on, just like watching golf today, right? Or watching the basketball game. I'm not going to pay to watch the finals. I didn't pay to watch the first round games, but you want me to watch. So you put it on TV. That's the point of the TV is so I can watch it and you make money on the commercials. But if you're making me pay to watch, there's no demand for that. I'm not going to pay. I got enough bills. I got enough problems. I don't need to pay to watch TV. And there's plenty of TV that I don't have to pay for. And it's not hard. I heard one guy on the radio, just get the fucking antenna. It just screws into the back of your thing. It's a plastic thing. Not a problem, fellas. So I don't know why people bitch about an antenna. But that's the thing. Just get the free TV. You just get the regular TV. You can watch golf or, there is baseball on tonight. I don't know who's got it. There's always a Saturday night game. Well, they might not have it because of the NBA finals. So probably the finals are on. So you get to watch the finals. Why would I pay to watch that? Again, is there any market to watch any team? Possibly the Yankees and the Dodgers, and that's it. But there's no, oh, good, I want to, the Cubs and the 49ers are on. But look what they do in football. Every game's on free TV except for these stupid Australia, London games, Germany. And the people there don't care about them at all. The Germans do not want American football. Neither does Brazil, I guarantee it. They're into soccer. One guy at the pool is asking me, well, do you handicap World Cup soccer? Who's going to win? I says, I don't even know who's playing. And then do you know the players? I says, I don't know one player. I don't follow it, nor do I have any interest. You might as well ask me about cricket and rugby. I have no idea, nor do I care. I says, my thing is football and a little bit of this baseball. But that's because of football to happen. So I said, I know the ball and I have to learn the players because I'm going to bet it. I got it. And he just talks about soccer. Have you ever heard of this guy? I don't know what you're talking about. It's a foreign language to me. But again, I'm not going to pay to watch. I'm not going to watch it in the first place, but I certainly wouldn't pay for it. So again, they're trying to create these markets that don't exist. This is what Wall Street's problem is. They don't understand Austrian economics. You have to have a market. There has to be somebody that wants to buy an electric car, that wants to buy this or that. This thing with Elon Musk, he's a trillionaire. He's not a trillionaire. It's just in his stocks. The value of the stock companies, which are way overvalued because the U.S. keep putting money into it, the government. So it's not him. He's an idiot, basically. And they dump money into his stocks for some reason. He must be in cahoots and he must give it back to them or they must own shares. Believe me, they're in it for a reason. And so he really doesn't have any money. It's just the stock value. That's how all these guys are billionaires. It's because they push the stocks up and then the value of the stock is $1 billion. And we know it's not true. So is there a market like for my plate here? Is there a market for this? Well, I bought it, but I paid €5 for it when I was in Barcelona. Sorry about that. Just a second. Okay. Um, so you can only sell something that people want to buy. What I see happening now is a lot of things that people don't want to buy that they're saying you got to pay for resort fees in Vegas. Oh, that $80 hotel room at the Tuscany. Well, that's going to be 150. No, I don't want to pay 150 for the Tuscany on a Tuesday. I have no desire for that. So therefore, that's the problem. So you can only sell things that people want. You can't, well, we're gonna charge you this hidden tax called a resort fee. Or my favorite, they're probably adding a tax for the Raider Stadium and for Oakland A's. So it's bullshit. I'm not paying for your stadium. So this is a problem. You're trying to make the public pay for things, just like these the bailouts when the banks go under because they make such stupid loans and then they can't get it paid back, like the housing crisis 2008. I don't know why they call it the financial crisis. It was a housing cost. It was a housing crisis caused by Jimmy Clinton. Oh, everybody should own a house, so let's make the restrictions off. So even if you don't have any money, you can take a $200,000 loan out. How are you going to pay it back? Well, I'm not, but we'll insure you. So the banks wouldn't do it, and then he guaranteed the bank. So we have to pay for the bailout. Excuse me? Why are we paying for what you fucking did, making everybody eligible for a loan? So anyway, there's a lot of things like electric cars, this SpaceX. Nobody wants it. I don't even know what it is. What's a satellite? Well, dude, there's a million satellites up there. Well, it's internet. Yeah, we got internet. I got Xfinity. There's AT&T. There's Mint Mobile. There's all these out there. I don't need. I don't need that. It's like baseball. So it all comes back to, I don't want to pay to watch the shitty Tigers play. Even if they were good, I don't want to pay for it. I don't know where you get the balls to think you can charge people to watch your sport when you should be begging people. You should have this on ABC, NBC. But the problem is they probably, the ratings are so bad that they don't want to air them. So then they make up these stupid sports things and you got to pay for it. And you're like, why am I paying to watch a minor league team? So that's, again, bad economics. You're forcing people to pay. Newport, Michigan. Don't know what that is. You're forcing people to pay that to watch, right? It's like if you want to watch, the game, you got to pay for it. Nobody wants to pay for it. It's not a must-see TV to watch baseball. It's boring enough, and especially a last place minor league team like the Tigers. I'm going to pay to watch that? No, I don't think so. Sunny day out, I'll go golfing. I'll go to the pool. I'll barbecue, but I'm not going to do that. So that's what you have there. And it's crazy. So again, it's the market. You can only sell what people want to pay for it. You can't have a product that nobody wants to pay and then charge them for it and think you're going to make money. So I don't know how much money all these bullshit baseball, like, who's the idiot in charge of this? Why don't you copy football's market? Oh, because there's no ratings, because you're not on TV and you've made the game so bad with the pitch counts and all this started second in the 10th inning and this whole replay thing. I'm hating it. I hate it in basketball. You ruin the game. The game's got a pace and then you stop to review. What are the refs? If the refs can't make the call, they shouldn't be out there. So get refs and then get the thing. And these guys are getting hammered in basketball. They're not calling fouls. It's ridiculous. But all this challenges is ridiculous. No, you can't. There should not be any challenges in basketball. There shouldn't be any challenges in baseball. Whatever the call is, the call is. Did Lambeer foul Kareem in game 6 of the 88 finals? Well, that's what they called it. If the ref called it, he fouled him. You don't replay it. I mean, you can't replay it and go, nope, he didn't touch him. No, because that's what the ref called. And whatever the ref calls is what he calls. All right. So again, you got to have a market. You got to sell things with the market. And that's the key to it. All right. So let's go to Egon today. So we saw Alligator yesterday, and he's actually, it was a perfect one. So watch my video yesterday. If you want, I can show this tomorrow. And he basically thinks gold is an investment like a stock, and an Alligator says, no, it's money, it's protection, because the dollar is going to zero. We know the dollar is going to zero because we know if you print too much of something, it goes to zero. If you eat too many cakes, you're going to, gain 100 pounds. So if you print too many dollars, the value of the dollar goes to zero. That's a fact. The Romans, the British, the Germans, the French, the Spanish, it's happened time in and time again. It gets corrupted. They keep printing money. They go to war, and it's the bye-bye blues. And it's happened with everybody that's done it. China's smart enough where they're actually having gold. Now, when China becomes corrupt and they get away from gold, that's when they'll end. And I'm really tired of watching this Douglas McGregor, and he keeps quoting like Luke Roman and Ray Dalio and Peter Schiff, and I'm like throwing up. Like, these guys are Keynesians. These guys don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what inflation is. I'm so tired of explaining inflation as money printing and that the price is going up. And that's all you hear. Oh, McGregor, well, the prices are going up. There's going to be high inflation in the summer because of the oil. No, it's not inflation. That's a supply of oil that's short, and the price goes up is not inflation. I don't know why people just want to, price increases are inflation. That's a Keynesian thought, and it's not true. It's stupidity. So it's tough. All right, we're going to watch Egon with some lady I've never heard of. War is printed. So let's listen to Egon and we'll play along.
My question is this, because I thought the same thing a while ago. But then I look at what's going on, and the fact that, as you said, the Federal Reserve was started in 1913. Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard in 1971, allowing them to go ahead and print and print and print and print. And since that time, every time they get in trouble, pay for the wars, etc., you just print more of the currency. Now, my question to you, Egon, is it potentially now too big to fail? In other words, the numbers are staggering, but I remember thinking that $1 million was staggering. You just mentioned the word quadrillion. Can't we just keep making up new numbers and adding zeros and keeping the currency, keeping the circus going ad infinitum?
Well, there has been no period in history where people have survived just by printing money or increasing the debt. It always comes to an end because at the end of such a period, someone has to pay. You can't just roll it on, because if you don't produce enough goods and services, and that's what keeps the world moving.
Okay.
And if you replace that with printed money, then there'll be Shangri-La. It'll be wonderful. If nobody has to work, and you just print more and more money. But sadly, as I said, history tells us that it has never worked before, and we can take the example of the Roman Empire, and they came to the same situation also, that they needed to print money, and their money printing was, of course, in the silver denarius, replacing the silver by nickel or copper,
That's
etc.
right.
So the silver content went from 100% to almost 0% in the denarius, the Roman silver coin, and of course the empire collapsed with debts, and then of course then there were wars and continued, and then there was civil unrest, and there was misery, and Rome broke up basically. So it just doesn't work, and don't believe that AI is the solution either. AI will make the world more efficient. Firstly, it's at a massive cost, and we don't know if the world can afford that cost. But secondly, AI is going to actually exacerbate the fall, because fewer and fewer people will have jobs. That's inevitable. The AI is make the world more efficient, and people will not be needed. But the people who are not won't be needed. They're not going to get money from the state or from someone, and they are just going to be unemployed and miserable, because they will have no useful purpose. So the world population will go down, of course, and there will be a few who control this if they manage to survive. But who benefit from AI. But remember, if you don't have consumers buying all the things that you now are making very cheap and attainable for everyone, so then you've actually killed your market with AI. You make everything so efficient and so cheap, and only a few people need to produce it. But who's going to buy it then if nobody earns any money? So it actually doesn't work. So we're actually killing the goose that lays the golden egg here. So that's and this is, of course, a lot of people are aware of this, and so that it's incredibly dangerous AI. And I've always said for many years, if you look at the graph of the world population, and you had a relatively steady growth until the 1850s, it reached about 1 billion people then on Earth at that time, and then after 1850 it exploded to now 8 billion from one, and part of that is, of course, the energy, oil, and machines.
Yep.
And we have benefited all from it from a material point of view. But if you look at a spike going from 1 to 8 billion of a big sample like the whole of the world population, you know that can only end in one way. It's not going to just stay at the top for a while at 8 and then go up again. No, a spike of that magnitude has to come down by at least 50.
Okay, I got to interrupt. The question asked was, can't we just keep printing money and printing money and printing money? And he really did not answer the question. He says, well, look at Rome, it went down. Like, he showed examples, but he missed the concept. The reason you can't just keep printing is because the money becomes worthless. So the more you print, the less it's worth. Well, if you just keep printing and printing and printing the dollar, it becomes worthless. To whom? To the rest of the world, to the BRICS countries who are going with gold, which you can't print. So there's your perfect example. You have the US printing, making their dollar worthless, and you have China and BRICS and India and Russia going gold back, which is very limited, which will keep the value of their money. So the answer of the woman going, can't we just print quadrillion dollars, is the dollar will have no value. That's the simple answer. If you keep printing, it loses value, and we've already lost all our value. We've lost 99%. We'll lose 100%. I think we already have. I think it's just being used, but you can see the government running, knowing it's worthless, going, well, let's do stable coin, and we'll back it by the worthless dollar. Well, if you backed it by gold, I can understand. That tells me you have no gold in Fort Knox, and that you're trying to do a Ponzi scheme. I heard somebody compare Trump to Madoff. It's just a Ponzi scheme that, well, it'll be backed by the dollar, so the dollar will keep its reserve currency. No, gold's the reserve currency. Gold has the value. Dollar doesn't have any value, or the euro or the Swiss franc. Any of these do not have any value because they're not backed by anything. A dollar not backed by anything has no value. A stable coin backed by a dollar has no value because the dollar has no value. So you can't just, well, we'll back it by something and make it worth something. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's what you have is you have this dollar not backed by anything, going to back stable coin. And I would strongly do not get into that. Do not go stable coin. There'll be a dollar because the mafia wants dollars because when they do all their stuff's illegal, they don't want to be tracked. Oh, the mafia, you bought all this heroin. They don't want that to come out, so they're going to keep. They'll. I don't see how we'll get away from dollars. I think it'll be dollars. I think it'll be the gold and silver will never go away because it's what's mostly demanded and it's very limited. That will always hold value. That's the number one lifeboat. The stable coin is not a lifeboat. It will have no value. They're trying to like think of a way not to go bankrupt, but the U.S. is bankrupt. So how can we pay our $40 trillion debt? Well, we'll issue stable coins, which nobody wants, and you're going to do that. So, I mean, somebody, oh, it's coming and we'll generate all this money from it. And no, you won't. Nobody wants it. And we'll stay with dollars. I'm assuming dollars will always be around. Like now there's Bitcoin, but there's dollars and there's gold. And I don't see that changing. You might have a stable coin, which I think is already out, but who cares? Why would you want it? All right. But anyway, the question he failed to answer was the more you print, the less it's worth. So it has no value. And that's why you can't keep printing it because it has no value.
I would say. So the world population will come down from
who knows?
8, let's say, to 4 billion. Could be more, could be less. But and what's going to cause that? Well, there'll be war. The misery of that we're going to see now, which is of course a depression, and so there'll be lack of food, there'll be famine, there'll be wars, there'll be disease, social unrest, etc. Civil wars maybe also. So that and some people won't, and the people who are losing their jobs there, but people are can't afford to have children anymore, and this is happening already. Of course, a lot of countries are not increasing the population. So that's how the world will evolve, in my view. And again, I'm not a pessimist by nature. I love life. I love people. But you're looking at risk. This, in my view, is inevitable. It will take long. Things always take longer than you expect. But at the same time, it's a little bit like, as Hemingway said, how do you go bankrupt? First, gradually,
and then all at once.
Suddenly.
Yeah.
And so once it starts, it could unravel pretty quickly. So anyway, we will see the beginning of that, and hopefully we'll still be able to chat and enjoy each other's company, and at least.
I mean, I was going to say.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say. So that's the good news. Tell me the bad news. No, in all seriousness, though, people watching this, I don't want them to freak out. What should they be doing? Now, I know you're a big proponent of precious metals preserving wealth. I also know the majority of people I speak to are more interested in Uber Eats and a coffee every day, and they don't think long term, and they don't see the value. Now, I'm not here to convince people, but what I say to people is you need to be educated about potentially what's going on. Now, what you've just spoken about, Egon, is almost too crazy for people to contemplate that this will even happen.
Yeah.
And it's like when the cyclone arrives and they forgot to get the insurance, they say, whoops, and we go, well, we told you the cyclone, the storm was coming. No good after the storm has passed. So, as I say, we're not in the business of convincing people, but how do we get them to understand the inevitability? Because as I said just before, it almost sounds ridiculous to think that this could happen in this modern world.
Yes, it is, and especially with the massive amount of affluence we should have. But sadly, the difference between the rich and the poor is increasing by the day. And that in itself, of course, will cause problems for the world, because there's a point, especially when you get empty stomachs. That's the point when the people start protesting,
Yeah.
and complaining about the rich. And so you should definitely not flaunt your wealth or show anyone that you have any money, because the rich will be hated by the majority. Remember, so we are, I can say, almost sadly catering for a very small group here of people who have some savings, and therefore can afford to buy a little bit of gold or a little bit of silver. But the majority don't even know what gold and silver is, and they would never have a thought of ever buying it or saving in gold or silver. What they don't understand is that you don't have to be very rich to buy gold or silver, especially as silver is still, at today, still under $100 an ounce. Okay, it was $20 a couple of years ago. So it has gone up a lot. But nevertheless, if the people in Venezuela, let's say 25 years ago, when Venezuela was, the Bolivar was about on par with the dollar, and it was a strong economy. If they had a little bit, an ounce of silver, an ounce of gold, when the crisis hit and the hyperinflation started, that just a little bit in, let's say, silver would have saved them, and brought them some little bit of spare capital that they could use in bad times. But of course, nobody thinks it would be enough. But when hyperinflation hits, it is enough to have just a little bit of it. And so therefore, I would still advise people today, rather than spending unnecessary money on things that you don't need really, put it away, or whatever you can, a few dollars here or there, or pounds or euros, and then that with what happens at the end of a monetary era, and we don't know. The world has never experienced a monetary era of this magnitude, of this amount of debt, and this amount of deficits, and this amount of trouble that we have in the world. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But what we do know is that the value of almost all currencies in the world has, since 1971, when Nixon closed the gold window, has gone down by 99%. So we have the final 1% to go, but the 1% is 100% from here, as I keep on saying, and therefore the value of money will implode. And for the ones who only hold fiat money, paper money, it means that they'll be totally worthless. I met a man from Yugoslavia 3-4 years ago in Switzerland, and he had a small restaurant, and he told my friends who were with us, he recognized me from the gold industry. He was interested in gold, so he said, "You should listen to this man, because I've experienced hyperinflation in Yugoslavia, and I had some gold, and I could leave Yugoslavia, come to Switzerland, and start a little restaurant. But most of my friends and family, they lost everything."
Oh, wow.
So it's only when you have experienced it that you realize what can happen. And then I don't think he had a lot of gold, but he had enough to start again. Because he was a wise man. And so, but the majority will not do that. Majority will not buy gold and silver. Although, as I say, they should, whatever, stop spending on things you don't need. Spend a little bit on.
All right, so we already know that. So basically, people aren't educated. People think money's there. They trust the government, God knows why. They see all the money and they go, well, how can it go to zero? Bill Gates has $1 billion, Warren Buffett. And they go, well, how can the money be worthless? Well, look at Germany, 1923. The money was worthless, right? Capiche? So you had this, expensive house that went down to $100 that 5 ounces of gold at $20 an ounce could buy. And this is what people aren't understanding. They don't know, and this is the biggest problem. They have no idea what's going on. And so they listen to Peter Schiff and Luke Groman and Aldi Ray Didio, and these people are idiots and they don't know what's going on. They're just salesmen. They're trying to sell their books, or Peter Schiff's trying to sell gold, but he's an idiot. If you can listen to him, he talks and doesn't say anything. Him and Andy Scheckman just talk, but they don't say anything. Just babble, babble, babble. Most of Mark McGuire's guests, don't even waste your time with his show this week. I don't know why he has guests. I really don't know. Okay, London Paul I like, and that's about it. But most of them are idiots, and they're just salesmen, and they write books, and they don't know what they're talking about. But that's the problem. Is so even if you do know, but if you listen to Egon and he says the dollar is going to go out, buy gold and silver, he doesn't really explain it well enough that people believe it. And then his little stadium where it doubles every minute and it fills with water in 50 minutes. But the last 5 is when it hyperinflates and boom, it fills. But people really can't relate to that. It's true that's how filling a stadium does. What does that have to do with money? What does that have to do with inflation? Which, again, nobody understands it. They just think it's prices going up. And you just scratch your head. No, it's the money being inflated to nothing. It's the value of the money dropping to zero. But people can't understand that. That's why we bring up Rome and Germany and Venezuela and all these countries. That's why we bring it up, is because that's where it happened. So it's not like this has never happened before. So we're saying this has happened before. And this is where it happened. This is why the Roman Empire, why do you think it collapsed? Big empire like the Romans, because they ran out of money. And the people got the gold, and the Ottomans got the gold and paid an army and destroyed Rome. And that's why, is because you need money is like the blood of a country. Right? You have a heart and beats and the blood goes, and that's how we survive. We need the blood. The money is the blood for a country. But if you keep eating donuts, your blood gets, problem. And here you keep printing the money, and it makes you fat, and it makes the value of the money go to zero. There's how much money out there? $100 trillion printed, more than that. They keep printing every month. We got to pay for the debt. We got to pay for the government employees, which we shouldn't have, but 10 or 20 of those. Well, you got to pay for the Social Security because we stole that money from people who retired, who gave us their money. We used that. We spent that. This is your government. So this is the problem. So they're trying to go to war and have buy our weapons. That'll stimulate the economy. How about roads? Let's have roads. It's all you see is road construction. That's the government trying to stimulate the economy by printing roads. But there's no revenue in that. Oh, we need to do a road. So you pay for the road. There's no revenue coming in. Nobody's paying you to have the to have the road. Yeah, you get a little money on taxes from oil, the gas station. You get gas taxes coming in, but they don't know what they're doing. Government cannot create jobs, and it cannot spend with defense contractors and roads to get out of this. It's got to be the private sector, us, has to go to work, invent things, work, people spend. That's where your taxes come in. People go to work, they spend more, and that's what you've got. You have to have the people working. That's why AI is so critical, because it takes people out of the workplace, which lowers taxes, and there's nobody to buy the goods and services because it says law. You have to get money and then you buy things. And if you take that first piece out, nobody working, so nobody gets money, how do they go and spend money to buy things if nobody's making money? Oh, that can't happen. Yeah, it does happen. It will happen because this is what we're up to. So this is the big problem with the printing the dollar. And you can't just keep printing and printing. We've done it for 50 years. Notice we were on the gold standard. We were very from like 1815 to 1914 were the globe exploded with 5% increase in productivity, and everybody got very wealthy. But everybody forgets that or doesn't recognize it or can't realize it. And then you have what? Now you have everything gold going through the roof, which is really, and they're still trying to suppress it. But they don't tell anybody, hey, you got to have gold and silver. That's your protection. That's your protection from that. There was a movie, Stardust, with whatchamacallit, the Catwoman was in it. What's his name? Robert De Niro and Catwoman, whatever her name is, the one from Scarface. So they're in it, and she's a witch, and she can put a spell on you. But if you have this white flower, she can't turn you into like a mouse or something, right? She can't. There are 6 games. I did not put the spreads in yet. I got to buy Gray Sports Almanac. I might do that this weekend. I want to go up to the lake where I can sit on the beach and read my Gray Sports Almanac. We start off with North Carolina at TCU. So I got to read the Gray's Almanac to figure out what these teams are this year. So what I need to do first is learn the teams. And with all the switching of coaches and players, we don't know them yet. San Jose State goes to USC. I don't know. I think the quarterback at USC, I don't think he's there anymore. NC State against Virginia. Virginia had that quarterback from North Texas, so we'll see if he's still there. New Mexico State goes to Florida State. Florida State sucked the last few years after having that great season where they're undefeated. New Mexico State's terrible. Hawaii goes to Stanford. Stanford's been terrible. Hawaii's gotten better last year. And Memphis goes to Vegas. So without knowing quarterbacks, coaches, we can't say this is that week. I don't know why they don't call it week 1. They call it like week 0, and then week 1 has all the plays. So I will fill that in this weekend, and we'll start talking college football because I know how my people are. Baseball today, take Boston, Ranger Suarez, and Jacob deGrom. We'll go under 7.5 because either of them are capable of shutting out the other team, and Texas and Boston does not have a lot of hitting. So I'd be surprised if there's more than 3 or 4 runs in the game. Anyway, why can't we print and keep printing and keep printing? Because the value of the dollar will go out. Can we use stablecoin? Well, is that limited? And it's backed by the dollars, so that means it's worthless also. So you don't want to get into things that are worthless. Keep that in mind. That's the point of it. That's why we buy a Mantle card. It'll hold its value. A Rolex will hold its value. The Montana rookie. All these cards that I tell you have high demand because they're the star players. Mantle, Koufax, Mays, Aaron. That's why you buy them. They'll hold their value. Jerry Rice, Montana, Lawrence Taylor. I mean, these are guys that you want to hold the value. Lawrence Taylor doesn't have as much value as he should because he's a linebacker, and Joe Montana has value because he's a quarterback, but it is what it is. But Ronnie Lott's starting to get value, Lawrence Taylor. So good, but not. Focus on Montana and Brady and Jerry Rice and maybe Barry and Emmett. Walter Payton, good value. Earl Campbell, rookie card, good value. And you want to go with that. Anyway, I showed you Alligator yesterday. This was a pretty good one. I showed you this one. So it's the similar thing. He still struggles with why can't you just keep printing the money? Because the money will be worthless. That's why. That's the answer to the question why you can't just keep printing it. Because if it isn't backed by anything, it has no value in this to start with. And you keep dumping and printing, it has no value. So when I hear this guy, let me play this one. This is by some idiot government guy. All right, so this one on Fox, and I hate Fox. We'll just listen to the first few minutes of it.
If you've been told high cholesterol is because of your diet, you've been lied to. For almost 15 years, I treat.
We don't care about you. We only care about our doctor.
Well, welcome back. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says he is sad to hear about how JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon feels about the Clarity Act. This after Jamie Dimon told me he's going to fight it 2 weeks ago. Watch this. Are you happy with the way the Clarity Act is turning out?
No, because it allows them to effectively pay interest on deposits, stable coins, or something like that, without the protection that they should have. And it doesn't do anything for AML/BSA. It has almost no legal protections. So no, the banks will not accept it that way.
They want
and the ABA, the small banks, the credit unions, it's not just the big guys. I'm not worried about stablecoin, but if it happened, I'm telling you, I would have nothing to do with it, and it would eventually blow up on its own. Okay, but that's my personal thing. But I do understand the concern of all the other banks. So,
well, the markup is coming. I mean, what are you going to do about it?
We'll fight it. If we lose, we lose, and we'll live.
Yeah. Okay.
But it will be fought. It will not be. No one's going to bow down to this guy, okay, or that company. And he's the only one.
Yeah.
And he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars in Washington. This thing.
Okay? He said he's representing the whole industry.
Armstrong
Armstrong maintaining the regulatory framework he claims will be good for the banks. More than 200 crypto companies and lobbying groups are now calling on the Senate to schedule a floor vote on the key digital asset legislation. Joining me now is South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. He's the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
Obviously, people feel like the Senate's running out of time to get the Clarity Act passed before the August recess. What's your reaction to what Jamie Dimon just said and what no doubt you've been hearing from other major banks?
Well, it looks like to me that Jamie and Brian might need to see some counseling together because they're actually distracting from the actual main point. Jamie more than Brian, by the way. The fact of the matter is that even JP Morgan is now getting involved in stable coins. Why? Because digital assets is a part of the future of finance. So every single industry will want to be a part of that, including banks. So what we're talking about today is how do we set the rules of the road so that we protect our consumers? Job one is making sure that consumers are protected. Job two, making it less expensive to do business in America and easier to do it 24/7. Blockchain and digital assets allows us to get there faster. It's coming, period.
Well, I mean, we were just talking with Michael Seelig, and, he made the point that we need the framework in place so that the business doesn't go offshore, right? So that we don't see a lot of these crypto companies go to other countries to actually do this. You've made this legislation a priority, and I want to get your take about that. How much do you believe will come into the U.S. once we do have the Clarity Act in place? I mean, how significant is the business if, in fact, those companies don't go offshore?
Some of us estimated that the actual sector itself, the industry, is worth about $3 trillion now. I think it's going to $30 trillion in the next several years. The truth of the matter is that we can either lead in America or watch the dust from a distance. We're not going to do that. We're going to lead in America. Why? Because we're Americans. Maria, we have to make sure that we have an environment that is conducive for the brightest minds, the greatest thinkers, entrepreneurs to descend upon America to make sure that we are the economic, financial capital of the world for another generation. Frankly, what we've already seen, Maria, with stable coins is that our dollar dominance is actually increasing. More than $300 billion of more activity around the world because of stable coins. And where is the activity happening? Around the dollar, because stable coins requires dollars or U.S. treasuries to back every single penny that you find in stable coins. Really good news for America's dollar.
Good news for the dollar. Okay, the fact that the dollar has no value doesn't seem to connect with this guy. After watching this, how comfortable are you with this, right? I'm not comfortable at all. Oh, it's the consumer's protection. Oh, okay, that means it's a Ponzi scheme. get the fuck out. I will never get a stable coin unless I forced to for Social Security. I'm taking dollars in the bank and then spending them as I do now. I know the dollar's worthless. I know stable coin, they can cut it off and track you and do all this, and it doesn't have a value if it's backed by the dollar. And what happens to the $40 trillion in debt? Does that go away? So the dollar is worth what? $40 trillion in debt, and the dollar is worthless. And what? We're going to go to stable coin. They're probably forced to, the people around the world are probably forced to use it. He doesn't say that, doesn't say the control. He keeps calling it digital currency is worthless. And then blockchain is just a general ledger. They make a big deal about a blockchain, which is nothing. Geez, I think I can use spend money 24/7 now with my credit cards and my debit cards. I think I can go to the gas station at 2 a.m. and use it. I think it works in 2 seconds. So I don't really know what they're talking about, the transactions and everything. I'm sure it's in there, but they're going to make money on stablecoin. Problem with stablecoin backed by dollar, when the dollar goes out, so does the stablecoin. Don't forget that fact. So I wanted to share that with you. Jamie Dimon's against it, so that means it won't work because he's the head of the mafia. So if he doesn't want it, it's not going to happen. Again, you can't cut the banks out. The banks run the government, and the banks are going to tell the government, I gave you $1 million. You're going to back me up. You're not going to vote for this or against it. So I don't really get what the big deal is. Pushing stable coin is it's their way of getting out of this $40 trillion debt. Is we'll use stable coin, and it'll be backed by dollars, and you'll have to buy treasuries because they need treasuries because we're broke, and we keep printing money, and nobody will buy our treasuries because they're worthless. So they're trying to use stable coin to buy the treasuries because nobody else will. I don't want to play that game. And that's why we just stay in gold and silver. Nobody can fuck us. Nobody can manipulate us, control us. We win the game. We get our freedom by having physical gold and silver. We don't care about the price. We know the price is 10 times higher. We know it's manipulated down. We saw it go from $5,000 to $4,000 for no reason, except for bankers selling options to control the price. I hate when I see guys do these shows and they talk about, well, we think there's price fixing going on. Yeah, really? You just think that? So explain why it went from 5 to 4. And not only that, you're talking paper gold, not physical. And there's no way the physical price goes down. So this is what we know. So that's it. So we just started with college football, pro football. Well, why don't we do football tomorrow? Have some fun. There's no gold or silver to talk about because they take the day off. Baseball, your free pick, Boston under 7.5, 2 units. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games today. What a week I've had. So if we go back to 6, 7, 5 and 4 plus 3 units, 4 and 1 plus 9 units, 7 and 2 plus 10 units, 5 and 4 plus 3 units, 3 and 1 plus 4 units, 6 and 2 plus 10 units. That's 3, 12, 22, 25, 29, 39 units in the last 6 days. Pretty fucking good, huh? So $25, you get the picks. You figure out how much your unit is worth. If it's $10, if it's $25, if it's $100, if it's $1,000, depends if you're a big shooter or not. You're going to make money because I've been red hot. I had a bad week last week, I admit it, but otherwise I've been red hot in May and now that. And, I got a feel on some teams are good hitting teams. The pitchers were the Milwaukee pitcher, 2 of them, and we got the Scanes, we got Chris Sale, we've got this Gin on Oakland, we've got so many pitchers that are really that we can bet on, aces, and then we got all the zeros. And then the bullpen days. Yeah, we'll start a bullpen guy for 2 innings and fuck everybody up because you won't know how to bet it because you're going to bet a guy with a terrible ERA, but he's going 2 innings. Oh, That helps me. And the problem is, even if he goes 2 innings, more than likely he's going to give up maybe 1 or 2 runs. The other thing I notice is these 10-run innings or these 8-run innings. It's like, what are you doing? Well, we got to eat innings up. You're going to lose the game. It's a 2-1 game. You've given up 8 runs in this inning because you keep this pitcher out there who sucks with the 6 ERA. What are you doing? So the managers aren't even looking at ERAs. They're just going, well, we got lefties coming up. We'll put our left-handed pitcher in, even though he sucks. Or righties. We'll put our right-handed pitcher with the 6 ERA in the game because he's a righty and they're facing righties as they hit home runs off of the guy. Let's pinch hit my 300 hitter with a guy hitting 089 because he's right-handed and the lefty's coming in. I don't these pitchers, these managers are the worst I've ever seen. Where the hell's Billy Martin and Earl Weaver and Tommy Lasorda and Tony La Russa? Where's the good managers? Because you got dog shit out there. There's not a good team with a good manager. Maybe in Milwaukee they seem to do well. The Dodgers manager I don't like. He's just got a loaded team. So he can just fuck around and put anybody out there, and they're going to all 9 hitters hit. The pitching stinks. They're all Japanese for some reason. They're all Mr. Fuji's guys. They can't handle pressure. So that's what we got. So, again, gold and silver finally caught their bottom, and now they're coming back up. So my goal is to sell my ounce for $4,500 by Friday. It might be earlier. That would be my goal. And that's it. I'm only looking to sell an ounce because I need money. And that's it. Or I need monopoly money, I should say. And that's it. So that's where we go. So have a good day. www.teaserking.com. You want to buy the picks? You get a week for $25. It's a steal of the century. It's as much a steal as buying silver and gold at these ridiculously low prices. Oh, the prices have gone up. No, they haven't. These are nothing. The dollar's worthless. Get a grip on that. So the sooner you realize the dollar's worthless is the quicker you buy gold and silver. And people that just hem and haw at me, well, I'm not buying gold or silver. The girl that cuts my hair, did you buy silver yet? Oh, no. Okay, don't listen to me. Yeah, I'm full of shit. You know more than me. Okay, good. Take care. Anyway, be careful who you listen to. Egon and Mark McGuire are the only really 2 I listen to. I can see that Alligator's been listening to me because he's changed his views to what we talk about. So maybe you can start listening to Alligator, but that's about it. I don't know where these substracts are on. All of a sudden, these guys on substracts. That's again, there's no demand for those, and you want to make money and charge and yeah. Oh, we want to educate people. Not if you're on a Substack charging them to join. You're not educating anybody. You're just trying to pocket it. So I don't like Alligator doing that. Anyway, that's what's going on. So buy your gold and silver as quick as you can before the prices go up. The war, I don't know. The war with Iran, they're trying to negotiate it because Trump knows the oil price is going to go to the moon, and that'll ruin him, and that'll ruin our country because everything will get more expensive, not from inflation, from higher oil prices. So that's what we're trying to look at. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy the weather. All right. Take care. Again, free pick Boston. And tonight we're taking San Antonio to lay the 5.5. Not that we trust them. We don't trust the coach. We don't trust Winnebago. We don't trust that other guy. It's about New York's going to be flat after this comeback. San Antonio must win the game. And so far in must-win games, they played pretty well. They did the same thing with Oklahoma. They were down 3-1 or something, and then they came back or whatever. But the games that they should win, they're losing, but they will play a good game tonight. They got to be embarrassed after that. And I guarantee you that kid won't make the same mistake instead of just dribbling the clock out and get fouled and make your free throws. putting in, see, because what he did by trying to dunk, not only did he not run the clock, he didn't score. So instead of getting up 3 with free throws, he gets it blocked, probably got fouled, but doesn't score anything, didn't take time off the clock, and you're still only up 1 instead of pulling the ball back out, taking time out, and getting fouled and hitting your free throws and getting up 3, and then you couldn't lose. Anyway, have a good day, everybody. Enjoy the nice weather, at least here in Detroit. All right. Take care. Good luck. Boston under, San Antonio. And we will talk to you tomorrow. We'll get more football in week 1 and everything else. Okay. Take care, everybody.